It's Friday, Footwork Day, episode number 7, January 24th, perhaps. I have written here for Friday Footwork, rail 2 plus 3. Don't quite know what that means, but I'm going to guess a few things. Welcome back to Back on Board with Old Dog Ken Tizzard. My name is Ken Tizzard. I am your host. Thank you for hanging out with me for a few minutes while I do some exercises in my shed on a cold winter night. Daytime, actually. It's about 4 o'clock. It's actually mid-December right now. I'm trying to get some of these into the machine so I can edit them while they're coming out and stuff, but trying to get the content done now while it's all still fresh, and this way here I can continue throughout the winter doing what I'm doing. So today we're going to do some skateboarding, not skateboarding. We're going to do some exercises using a skateboard. Once again, disclaimer, I am not a doctor, I am not a professional, I am not anything. I am an old retired musician trying to keep in shape now that I'm not on the road as much. So, rail. What's rail? I wondered that for a long time. Primo. What's primo? I wondered that for a long time too. Again, when I was growing up, we weren't doing kickflips. We weren't doing anything that might, sort of send you flying through the air to land on your board with your foot on the board like that, full weight. And then as soon as that happens, the board slams either this way, and that jarring feeling goes up through your leg and up through your spine and hits you in the back of the neck, and it feels like a concussion from inside. Or even worse, if you hit here and then the board goes this way with all your weight and then out and my muscle tears. Needless to say, primo is actually when you ride a skateboard like this, but sort of on the wheels. That would be a coconut wheel that I would be doing there. Landing primo or doing a primo slide is when you, nowadays it's a trick where you jump up, you end up landing on the bolts and the board and riding it like that. Crazy, crazy stuff people are doing. But in freestyle, there's a thing called rail. And rail is a position, it's a basic position of freestyle, as I understand it, where the board is balanced on the wheel and the deck itself. So most freestyle decks, as you see, you don't see the nut on any of these wheels. These are freestyle wheels, they're offset, so you don't see the nut. So you can actually balance the board end out with the wheelbase. And you use that by trucks that are 1/8 or 1/4 inch too small for the deck. Check out the specs on that. I think it's 0.25, which is 1/4 inch too small for the deck. And then you use spacers to move the wheels out until they get to the side, and your board is balanced so that you can do tricks that are called being in rail. Does it matter if it's a freestyle or a regular board? Well, no. It helps to be a freestyle board. This is an 8.5 street deck here, and it works really well and balanced in rail. It's quite nice, pretty solid. I've been standing on this one for a bit, so I might be a little, just a little too comfortable on this one. But then again, by example, and I don't actually know because I don't do rail on my pool board, but like this is my pool board here, which is a massive deck. Yeah, you can still get into rail on it. Now, it's curved, so I can feel that if I put weight on one side over the other, the wheel lifts on the other side, which, might actually be cool for some kind of spins and stuff. Witter Cheng from Decomposed, he's the guy who does all that. So you can do it on any board. What we're doing today, I use the Witter board for part of it. What we're doing today is called rail. So, at first I suggest you do this. You put your beautiful board in front of you. Make sure it feels nice and level and tight. And then while holding onto your table or your desk or whatever you got, remember, if you haven't done this before, this is really crazy, crazy weird. There's a bunch of different places to put your feet. I find when I'm just generally getting on and off, kind of the ball of my foot, my toe kind of wraps on the outside of the wheel, the ball of my foot is kind of in there, well, no, in there, then the behind sort of the big knob on the bottom of your foot, whatever that is, that's kind of where I feel the board, and you do feel it there. So while you're holding on to something, put your weight on this foot. You're going to move your center of gravity over this. You're just going to imagine standing on the wheel and balancing the wheel and the board against your foot. And you're going to stand up and you're going to go into this position here. So after a second, you get your other foot positioned. And then you can just shift your weight back and forth, just like this. 2 legs. Some of you out there for the first time, you're going all over the place trying to keep this balance. And be careful, because like I said, if it goes out this way, you're landing on the board. If you don't know how to distribute your weight landing, the board is going to go one way or the other, and it'll be a fall. So be careful. And if it goes out the other way, you get that terrible shock up through your legs, which is really there. And sometimes the board will pop up and give you a shinner. So, again, just going back and forth and experiment. Everybody's feet is different, right? And I also don't know what I'm doing. So again, tell me, let me know where the feet should be for what. And I know that for certain tricks, you know, you move the weight of your feet around to help with the balance of the trick that you're doing. On carpet in here like this, these rail whips are impossible to do for me. Actually, almost impossible for me to do on perfect concrete too, to be honest. But I was just giving you an example of when you might distribute your feet differently. So a lot of videos will get to this point, and then they'll start talking about getting into some movement on the board, which is cool. One thing, again, it might be a little too advanced at first. Give it some time, but when you start getting used to this, yeah, start moving your feet over. Because then you get into all kinds of weird, you know, people start getting into the leg cross stuff and sort of flips from this position, all kinds of weird stuff. I'm not there yet, but what I do a lot of time doing this. I find it really good for my balance. You know, standing up straight with it. I'm kind of leaning forward because I'm talking to the camera a bit and stuff, but standing up nice and straight, balance your legs. Once you start getting good at it, hold your center of balance. You do that without these. As you can see right now, my calves are shaking. This is just a great exercise. Now, I'd like to extend this exercise, but as my calves get more and more tired, I start to lose my balance more. I don't have the muscles down there working as efficiently as they were 30 seconds ago. But I want to keep them engaged. This is where the rings will help. Even just a finger, one ring, all of a sudden the shaking goes away. It's just a little tiny correction that you have to do every now and again to stop that, and that you just kind of feel into it. And before you know it, you don't realize that you're standing on the wheels sideways on a skateboard. And before you know it, you just start feeling really comfortable. And that's what you want to get out of this. So that's one way to stand in a rail. Next week, I think we're talking about how to get into rail. But this week, let me just check the counter here, see how long I've had you going here for. Around 9 minutes. Now we're just going to stick with these techniques this week. I don't want to wear you out. So, right now, let me know, is this toe side or heel side? I feel like it's heel side because my heels are on the board side, but it could be toe side because my toes are towards the front of my body. My toes are always going to be by the front of my body. This is a quantity. Let me know if this is toe side or heel side. Now, for those of you who don't know what toe side or heel side is, it's either one or the other of this, or when the board is facing away from you, like this, and now you have a different feeling. For here, the crease of my toes is right on the wood, the ball of my foot is between the wood and the wheel, and then the sort of behind the ball of my foot is on the wheel. It's actually a lovely stance. It's really comfortable. I quite like this. The one thing I don't like about this is I haven't figured out, I'm getting a hang of the dismount from here, but the dismount from here is a forward push. I can't seem to get it from a backwards. But again, you're going to try these things. When you're on here, again, now this one here, I gotta stand up a little straighter there, folks, sorry. Trying to look at the camera and balance, there we go. So this one here is, again, you can see my calves starting to go. But man, does it feel good. And the other thing that it's making me do is, my doctor keeps talking about my core, this whole area. And I can feel it all just, it's not sort of doing anything, but it's just there. It's just kind of, I don't know, it feels real good. Thank God I got these here, look at that. Just lost it. Okay, so again, we're in rail here. This is cool. Hanging out in rail. Step off from rail. Now remember the first day that we were here? I did this thing here where you walk up to your board, front foot on, turn, do this 30 times. That was just how to get on the board, and that was only 6 short episodes ago. I'm going to give you the baby steps of what I call the baby step exercise of rail for me. And it's when I do it on this one here. It's my flat nose. Both the same. This one is a little closer to being parallel, and I find it slips backwards a little bit. But the exercise is just up and down. It's like step class. You take your time. You do this for a while. Left, right, right, left, left, right, left, right. Now, I just did notice that this one here has a little bit of a concave on the curve on the board. Reacts more than this one, so I'm sort of changing boards to kind of show you the differences that a different board will make. So if you're doing this at home on something different, you might understand things that you're having as an issue. So you can mix it up, left first, right foot, left foot, right foot, doing whatever you want. Once you get that down, put that into a little exercise routine. Do it for 3 or 4 minutes until you start to run out of breath. And then you're going to go into toe side or rail side, please let me know. Then I'm going to this one here, which is the exact same thing. You choose whether it's right, left, left, right, or left, right, left, right, left, right, right, left. You decide. It's just like walking upstairs, really. But you're using a skateboard. That's all that, folks. I hope that you're all having a good winter. Staying somewhat entertained by the world. I hope the world isn't too entertaining, for any negative reasons. I hope all the entertainment out there is good. I hope it's a good new season for movies. Come here, you don't be knocking the heater over. I hope everybody is just doing grand. We'll see you next week, where we will. What are we doing next week? Damn. What's next week? You get the pivot sequence. Next week we do all 3 ways of getting in to rail. There we go. We'll see you next week.